Mike Brown has officially been introduced as the new head coach for the New York Knicks. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a new day. The new era has officially begun. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the video below, to the channel below. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you drop a comment. I want to know what you think of Mike Brown's introductory press conference. I want to know what you think about him as a head coach, if you like the hire, what you expect from him going forward, and what you expect going forward from the New York Knicks. Now, this was an introductory press conference. Of course, he's going to say all the right things. Of course, he's going to be on his best behavior, right? It's like a first date. When you're on a first date, you say all the right things. You're on your best behavior, and you want to make sure that the person across the table from you really likes you and can really get behind you. And that's what I feel like this was with Mike Brown. But I do think he said a few things that are very telling during this press conference as well. There are a lot of questions that I had in my head that he answered. Let's get right to it. I'm going to use the Twitter feed of Christian Winfield, who is a New York Daily News beat reporter for the New York Knicks, also a friend of mine. The one thing that I like the most, and I think I'm going to put this one first, is how Mike Brown said that he wants to play fast. Quote, "Everybody knows I like to play fast, and we have an outstanding roster. I'm excited about that, and to have a guy like Jalen out there gives you the versatility to play a bunch of different ways." Love it. Right? Because this is what we wanted as Knicks fans, or most of the Knicks fans that I know. We wanted another way of playing on the offensive end. Now, we all love Jalen Brunson. Don't get me wrong. We know what he can do. We want the ball in his hands, but we also want players like Mikal Bridges to thrive. We want Karl Anthony Towns to be involved in pick-and-roll situations with Jalen Brunson. We want everybody to be a threat on the court. And the Knicks, when they ran last year, they were very efficient. They were really good, and it always kind of scratched my head why Tom Thibodeau never really picked up the pace overall with the offense. Having a coach come in and saying, I want to play fast, I do still want to play through Jalen, but I know what this roster can do if we pick up the tempo, that is very refreshing to hear. Because to me, that was the biggest complaint with the Knicks offense, was they didn't play fast enough. They didn't move the ball enough. Jalen Brunson's great, don't get me wrong, and I understand that there's times you're going to put the ball in his hands and say, go get us a bucket, Jalen. But overall, I would like to see more ball movement. I would like to see faster tempo. I think that can help out players like a Mikal Bridges, like a Jordan Clarkson off the bench as well. I think he would thrive in a fast tempo. Someone like Deuce McBride, even though he had a decent season, I think he could be even better if we start running, if we use his athleticism going forward. So for me, that was one of the quotes that made me smile. It made me happy. I think it is exactly what you wanted to hear from a Knicks fan. Also, this quote right here. Mike Brown on whether there's a Mike Brown style of play. I think you have a philosophy on both ends of the floor, but you have to make sure it fits your personnel. Now, that's not a dagger or jab at Thibs in any way, I think, but I do think it shows the separation between Mike Brown and Tom Thibodeau and why the Knicks wanted to make a deal, right? Or wanted to get a new coach. Tom Thibodeau was stuck in his ways. I love Tom. I'm so grateful for what he brought to this organization. He is the reason why the Knicks are where they are right now. Him along with Julius Randle, building up the Knicks' credibility, changing the culture. But at the end of the day, he took this team as far as he could take them. He did not want to change. He was stubborn. He didn't play a bench. He didn't implement anything different offensively for the most part. Defensively, he was in love with drop coverage. I know in the Celtics series, they switched a lot with Cat, but still, a lot of the time against Indiana, whether you want to blame Karl Anthony Towns or not, he was in drop for most of the time, never went zone, never switched things up, never showed different looks for the most part, played a very basic offensive and defensive game plan, in my opinion, on both sides of the ball, where Mike Brown is looking at this roster, he's saying, I like certain ways of playing, but, I got to see what I have. I gotta play the cards that I'm dealt. And I'm not saying Tom Thibodeau didn't do that all the time or didn't do it at all, but he didn't really make adjustments that us Knicks fans wanted him to make. Some obvious ones that we wanted him to make. So obviously a coach like Mike Brown during his press conference is going to say something like this, right? Like, again, first date, yeah, I'm a nice guy. I'm going to buy you gifts, right? It's the same thing. You're going to say all the right things. But his history shows that he does do this, right? With the Cavaliers, he was known as a defensive-minded coach. Slow the game down. Beat you up defensively. Then, Sacramento, they're up-tempo, moving the basketball, high-octane offense. So for me, I do believe that he is going to take a look at this roster and he's going to implement a system that he thinks works best. And if it doesn't work out right away, I think he's going to change. I think he's going to find adjustments. I think he's going to find lineups that work for this team going forward. I do think the challenge does lie within the fact that you're going to have Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns out at the same time. defensively in crucial parts of the game. He's going to have to figure out ways to, make sure that defensively they don't fall apart at the end of games. He did mention how he likes Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson, can play vertically while Karl-Anthony Towns can stretch the floor, and Mitch is one of the better centers defensively in this league. So I do expect Mitch to play a lot to cover up a lot of the mistakes that Jalen and Karl-Anthony Towns are probably going to make on the defensive end. I'm interested to see how he handles that rotation. But I'm just very encouraged with what I see so far of Mike Brown. As somebody who didn't necessarily love the Tibbs firing because I didn't know if anything was better out there, especially because I didn't know what direction Leon and company wanted to go in. I think this was the best that we could have gotten. Instead of go poaching girlfriends from other teams, their partners, and hey, quit your job and come with us. Instead of a Jason Kidd or a Billy Donovan, we get a coach who's available, somebody who's been there before, who has won championships as an assistant coach. I think the Knicks so far have knocked it out of the park. Now, of course, Mike has to come in. He has to implement a system, and he has to do the job. It's finals or bust this year. There's no way around it. But I do think that he is, out of everybody who the Knicks could have gotten, probably the best guy for the job. Before we get out of here, there are some rumors that Marcus Smart is looking for a buyout and with the Washington Wizards. The Washington Wizards might give it to him, and there have been sources saying that he could be a good fit for the New York Knicks, that the Knicks would be interested. I would love Marcus Smart. These are the moves that I'm talking about, right? I'm not talking about let's do a huge deal for LeBron James or Austin Reeves, right? Like these unrealistic trades where salaries don't match and they're just utopias. I'm talking about small moves like this on the margins where you can add Marcus Smart to your bench. You add defensive toughness, which the Knicks need right now, especially on the perimeter. Someone who can shoot the three, who's willing to take the three, championship experience, or he's been to the finals at least. Somebody who I think is a good locker room guy, will add toughness to this team, is honestly, he feels like a New Yorker. I know he's not a New Yorker, but feels like one. Somebody who would fit in beautifully with the city. These are the moves that the Knicks have to make on the margins, in my opinion. You keep the core together, you develop a new philosophy, hopefully it works, and then you get ancillary pieces that you can get, build depth so that you're not going 7, maybe 8 deep in the playoffs, and uncomfortable 7 and 8, and you're going a strong 8, 9, maybe 10 players who you are confident in, so when the playoffs come around, you can rest players, you don't have to play people 40 minutes throughout the whole game. This is what I want. I think Marcus Smart would be a beautiful fit for the New York Knicks. Now, does it happen? I don't know. First, he has to be bought out by the Wizards. Then there has to be interest on both sides. Right now, it shows there are sources saying that the Knicks would be interested. I would be interested personally, too. Hopefully, he would be interested in us. I think he would be a fantastic fit in New York. All right, well, that's going to do it. It's a big day in New York. Mike Brown was introduced. Going forward, it's a new era. We'll be back tomorrow with more episodes, or this week with more episodes. Tomorrow with a specific episode of Knicks Latest. Make sure you subscribe. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think of Mike Brown's introductory press conference. Like the video. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.